Last time, on the Perilous path, we're introduced to the party in one way or another, starting with Edward, a human monk with a curiosity and a somewhat brash attitude. We meet Norfire, a gnome, who is a wizard and has come to learn an unknown secret. We meet Alistair, a tiefling who is performing in the streets and gains a lot of gold by doing a flip. We meet Ruad, a dwarf and a druid who is a master of agriculture within the city of Nook and has a fiery companion. We finally meet Mercury, a human barbarian who has come to Nook to test his mettle against the other combatants in the various dueling type arenas. In this episode, the party prepares to watch the dueling festivities and to just enjoy themselves. However, what they don't realize is that something bad is coming, and none of them are prepared for the consequences. Okay, so we are officially live now. Where we cut off last time was at Nook's Harvest Festival, and the dueling arena is about to get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and run straight into the mechanics of the dueling system I created. So what you have are, you're going to have these actions you can take, and depending on which action you take, it's going to be kind of like almost a rock, paper, scissors effect. So the first one you can do is brute force. And so brute force, you roll a d20 with your strength modifier, and you're going to attempt to brute force them, like exactly as it sounds. So there's that. The other movement that you can take is a finesse, which obviously you're going to use dexterity for. You're going to try and be like, slip in their guard and give them the old pokey poke or, whatever you're trying to do there, but you're trying to finesse. So dexterity. And then the third move is a defend, where you're still engaging and you can still get a point through a defend move. But you're going to roll and take your constitution modifier for a defend move. And then you'll it's more like a reactionary, like you block their strike and move in to take your point. And so the way this works then is you can gain advantage if you use the correct move against a correct move. There's no penalty if you don't. But the way it works is, so a brute strength beats a defense. No, I'm sorry, that's not correct. A finesse beats a defense beats a brute strength, and a brute strength beats a finesse. If that makes sense. So if you brute strength, this guy's dancing in, he's like, he's hopping for 1 foot, oh, I'm gonna get you, and you just whap him. Or a defense, you're like, oh, I'm gonna block it, but they sneak under your guard. And if you're defending against brute strength, they're like, oh, and you're just like, sorry, buddy, no. So that was my reasoning behind that. And so if we want to go ahead and do that scene, first of all, I want to know, you're in this big field. There's it kind of like if you've seen the scene in Harry Potter where they're doing the dueling in Chamber of Secrets. Like it's like a kind of a narrow stage, and it's long. But there's not, it's maybe 3 people wide, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver. This is more about skill when it comes to dueling.
So is Gilderoy Lockhart gonna be there?
No, but Fildroy Glockhart will. And boy, does he enjoy firearms, let me tell you.
Hey now, I don't think weapons of mass destruction should be allowed in this.
No, it just shoots colored light. Not like a wand, though.
So LSD.
Filled Glockhart is just there for like he's like it's like a confetti cannon but sparky.
Yes.
I mean, so he's just running around pew pew pew. Everyone's super excited by it. But no, so what are the rest of you all doing? We know Edward, sweet Edward, is going to try and compete, and he thinks he's going to do well, and he whose name is hard to pronounce, Mercury Guarmoney?
Just say Mercury. You can just say Mercury
Yeah,
right
let's just
now.
say Mercury. Mercury is also competing today. Also competing today. Are the rest of you competing? Are you watching? Are you
I'm going to fight.
Now I can't tell if you're being
King or
serious.
man will fight. No.
No, I'm just watching.
Okay. I kind of do like the idea of Norfire. Like, yeah, I'm small, so what? I'll take you any day of the week.
No thanks.
You
I
wanna
do
go?
have to get like a couple blocks to see.
Okay, so you have some cinder blocks there, and you're standing next to your friends. And the rest, I guess the rest of you are just watching.
And I
Yeah.
have my duck.
Oh right,
Archimedes
you're
the duck.
Archimedes. Let's not forget with his shoulder saddle.
Yeah, so he's sitting on my shoulder.
This is good. This is good. Maddie, I haven't heard from you. Are you watching? Are you heckling? Are you?
I'm watching.
Okay.
I mean, heckling sounds enticing though.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you can all heckle as a
Just see
collective
how it
group.
goes. I mean,
Yeah, like I'm expecting some baseball chants, like
We will.
exactly. Except like we will stab you. It's okay.
No,
but-
and whatever the guy's Glockhart name, we will Glock you.
Yes. That is actually his fan club's slogan. Let me just pour out my dice here.
Can I please be a part of his fan club?
You can absolutely. You know what? Flavor text.
President?
Whenever you have a cloak or a jacket or whatever, it bears a badge with Phil Glory Glockhart's face on it.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, enough of Phil Glory Glockhart. Let's get into the super rad dueling tournament. So two nameless people who are not important and are NPCs get up there and they stab each other a couple times, and the slightly taller one with brown hair beats the slightly smaller one with red hair, and everyone claps. And that was the first round. Wow. Super exciting. But now let's get to Mercury. So, your opponent is a bugbear
Oh,
who gets up there with a... He doesn't seem too terribly bright, and you notice he actually has bandages wrapped around his head, so... he's clearly no stranger to getting in kerfuffles. But let me ask you this: what is your weapon of choice?
So we're not just given a weapon this time. Okay.
No, I like to think that dueling in this society is a way that people settle disputes without killing each other, and oftentimes the nobles will challenge families to duels, and that's how you gain or lose noble titles and land. It's sort of like playing with people's lives, because obviously these people have vassals, but they're nobility, so yeah, that's whatever. It's all in good sport, old chap. I've taken your castle and your people.
Alright. I'm feeling kind of inspired today, so let's do a bow staff.
A bow staff. Okay, that's interesting. Is it a nice bow staff? Is it a wooden stick you found in the forest? It seems like I'm focusing a lot on your bow staff, but like I'm really just setting this up for fan art.
Okay. It's gonna be a nice one, you know? It's gonna be, but it's not gonna be too nice. Like, it's not new.
Okay.
It's clearly been used.
So like
But-
wooden handle, but maybe a little bit of iron with designs on it on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do
There's some
that.
copper in there, actually.
Ooh, copper. That's nice, like oxidized copper.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, that's swanky. Okay. All right. Your opponent favors a billy club. For
Yes.
once again obvious reasons. But okay, so let's go ahead and and in the sake of keeping things fair, because I'm not gonna just have you say I am going to brute force. Oh, I defend, because that's bull crap.
That's annoying.
I'll be rolling a d6. So if it's
One, 2 is this.
yeah,
two,
1, 2,
4
3,
is-
and 4, 5, 6, they're just the same thing. And that's how I'll decide whether they attack. Because again, there's no drawback. It's just you can get advantage on a attack. So let's go ahead and do that. Are you going to finesse, brute force,
Brute forcing right from the start.
brute forcing a bugbear? All right, that's the
Hey,
human
gotta
fighter
test the water.
archetype, everybody.
I gotta test the waters, man.
All right. So you are brute forcing. He will also be brute forcing.
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right. So let's go ahead and see about that. Go ahead and roll.
Oh gosh, that doesn't help if it flies all over the place.
No, it does not.
Is it strength modifier? Plus
Yes, because you are
D20?
brute forcing. It is your strength modifier plus your d20.
15.
Okay, he got 8. So what happens is you both go in, swinging full force, but your bow staff has a little more reach than his billy club, and you gunk right on his bandages, right in the old head.
Heck yeah.
And he just sort of slowly blinks. He stopped with his club outstretched, and like, ugh. You didn't hurt him, but like, he knows enough to know he lost the bout. Okay, so let's. And it is best out of 3.
All right then.
So okay, next bout.
Let's do. You know, I'm feeling lucky. Let's go another brute force.
Brute force. Okay, he is defending, so he has advantage. And again, brute forcing is strength, defending is constitution. So, natural
7.
20.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
yeah, I didn't get that.
Ring a ding ding! It's the first natural 20 of the day, wasted on a bugbear with a billy club. So he hits you pretty hard in the gut, and you're sort of tossed back. Again, you're not damaged too terribly, but you get sick.
Like I've taken the blow, yeah.
No, yeah, like right over the side of the stage. You notice less people are cheering for you now. After that one. Okay, so it's currently 1-1.
I wasn't really paying attention to the cheers to begin with, but okay.
I mean, that's fair. Okay, so final round. Is anyone calling out some encouragement for your new I won't say friend, your new acquaintance, old Mercury?
You can do it.
Nope, they hate me. They all hate me.
Oh man, that is rough.
I start having existential crisis.
You just curled in a ball on the stage. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Beat him up. Stop it.
Okay, let's go that final bout.
Alright, we're gonna finesse.
Finesse. Okay, he brute forced. So that is
That is unfortunate. That's what it is.
That is let's see. You're brute forcing again, and brute force beats finesse, but finesse beats defense. So I guess.
You know what? He won anyways. 'Cause I only got a 5.
Oh, I haven't rolled yet. Let's see here.
And then
Yeah.
that's-
He won. Oof.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
not a finesser.
So as you go in here,
I go in for a spin, spin hit.
You're going
kinda...
like low with that nice spin at the legs, and he just hits you in the head. And
Yeah.
the last thing you see before you go unconscious is, ugh. As the bugbear maybe smiles at you. It's hard to tell because he's missing half his teeth. And you fall unconscious.
I fall unconscious because of bad breath, not because of the hit.
That's good. Okay, so you are officially in the losers bracket. Boo.
Heck yeah. No, it's
Um,
good.
right.
Everyone always underestimates the loser's bracket.
Yeah, okay. So for the sake of it, let's not talk about all the other NPCs that are battling. And let's skip to, we're going to go to about mid tournament, quarterfinals actually. And Edward is up against that same bugbear. So let's
I hope he
just,
loses.
yeah, I'm
I
just
hope
going to do a few real fast rolls here for each of them to see how this is going to go down. Okay. 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 So
I swear, if this bugbear goes on to the final.
well, in the first encounter, he kicks, which is not a regulation move, but like it counts anyway. He just kicks Edward off the stage. I mean, just boots him like a football. So that's not great for keeping up appearances. But on that second encounter, we're going to see Edward, who favors a rapier. It is worth mentioning. He just sort of gives him a good old stick right in the old gut, and he gives a little call. Ha ha! I've got you in your gut. He's not much of a wordsmith, that one. The bugbear is few for words, and he just ugh. And
Make evolving bugbear.
evolving bugbear. If you catch it and train it, I promise it'll get to be real strong. Now remember, son, I'm sending you out into the world to collect them all.
And don't forget your underwear.
Smooth.
That's what you should yell at Edward at this moment.
I like that. I'm going to give your character inspiration for heckling Edward to not forget his underwear. And I'm gonna give him disadvantage on his next encounter with Mr. Bugbear. So they both go in, and as he makes that move, he hears, "Don't forget your underpants," and like he stops. He checks. He's like, "Well, what am I doing?" And yeah, Edward is critical one. His rapier breaks, and he is out of town. And this is not at all what I had planned.
Yes.
The bugbear goes to the finals.
I'm not mad now. I lost to the finalist.
Okay, so let's go to the losers bracket, where Mercury and Edward have both made it to the finalists of the losers. So one's going to be a winner who's a loser, and the other's just going to be a loser.
Hey.
So you both take the stage. Who are you guys cheering for? Edward or
For
Mercury?
Edward not to forget his underwear.
Okay, so I guess I know who Alistair is cheering for here. Okay, Ruad, who are you cheering for?
That's Mercury.
Yeah, oh, that's right, because you have a familial connection to Mercury's family. Is that's right?
I knew his parents.
Okay,
It's
right.
not exactly familial, but like
Yeah, more like a familiarity.
Familiarity.
You know, it's a word somewhere. But okay, and that leaves you, Norfire. Who are you cheering for?
I think Edward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Because
We're friendly.
yeah, you two have known each other for
couple weeks.
couple
For-
weeks. Yeah,
for 2 days.
no, for a couple weeks. So they're like
No, for like 2 weeks, and I feel like we've probably interacted.
probably because Edward's a very curious guy, and I think we touched upon this when, for the sake of clarity, right now it has been at least a month and a half since we recorded the first episode, and But yes, I think we touched on the fact that he's kind of interested in you because you come from outside of Nook, and
Yeah.
and you're a gnome, and there aren't very many of those in Wynor here. So yeah, I think he's probably pretty interested, and I think you probably have a good rapport. So you're cheering for him. So what are you guys all saying? What are you cheering? Well, yeah, you didn't expect me to ask you what you were saying, did you?
You can do this. You got this. Beat him up.
I want that same energy to be what you say with the cheer.
Generic NPC noise. Okay. Norfire, what are you saying for Edward?
I don't know, just generic. Yeah. You
Woohoo.
got this.
Slap him.
Yeah.
Okay. Ruad or Mercury, or I guess Mercury, you're not cheering.
I mean, I can cheer for myself, can I not?
You got it, man. You so tough. I don't know. Does
Just
Mercury say stuff
Give
like that?
myself a face slap. Give myself a face slap, just like a, let's do this.
Okay. Ruad, how about you?
I don't know. I'm probably not like outward cheering as much as I'm just clapping and enjoying the show.
Okay. So based on those interactions, I think both Mercury and Edward are going to get a +1 to their rolls.
Yeah.
Because like
brah,
they're only
woohoo.
getting generic cheering from people they know. So it's like, like you would have gotten +2 if Ruad was like, yeah, get a Mercury. Or, that's not at all what Ruad sounds like. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop trying to sound like your guys' characters.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and first bout. Here we go. And Edward looks at you and he goes, "We may be losers, but one of us will be a winner."
Yeah, at least we lost to a bugbear.
Don't tell.
Look off at the bugbear, just kind of shudder.
Yeah, and Edward's just kind of like, draws a little circle in the dirt with his foot. It's not even fair. He's a monster. Okay, so first bout. Let's go ahead and are you finessing, bruting, or defending?
We're gonna defend. Feel a little
Okay.
off put after.
That was a good call actually, because Edward is brute forcing.
Yeah.
He's just and to give you context of what that looks like, his brute forcing is him holding his one-handed rapier with both hands and swinging it overhead. He has no blade on the sides, but boy is he swinging this toothpick at you. And you have advantage here, and so that's your Constitution modifier and his Strength modifier. So what did you get?
And then I add 1 to my roll.
Yes,
Right?
+1 for your enthusiastic cheering.
Ha. All right, so highest was 17.
Oof. Yeah, Edward got a 6. So
All
like,
right, so he tries to come down with his rapier,
absolutely.
and I quickly just block it with the bow staff, do a cool little twist with it, and then just jab him from behind, jab him while looking away.
Ooh,
Doing a good
that's really
back
cool.
jab.
And I think he probably falls over.
yeah.
Maybe salvages his dignity with a little bit of a barrel roll and like dusts himself off like, oh, I only. No, I think he actually says, I only fell for the dramatics of it. If you're gonna lose in a cool way, right?
Yeah, tell me how good that dirt tastes.
Absolutely delicious. I eat dirt like this for breakfast.
Then you'll like seconds.
That's so good. We should put that on a t-shirt. Then you'll like seconds. No, out of context it's not as cool.
No.
Okay, let's get this second encounter. There we go. Okay.
I think we're gonna brute force this one.
Okay, he is brute forcing again too. All right, and you both have +1. So, all right, what do we get?
What is that? 10.
Ooh. He has an 11. So I think you both brute forced. So maybe you tried the exact same thing, both swinging two-handed overhead, and the cross guard of his rapier punched you in the knuckles, and you're kind of like, ooh, right on the fingers.
Stung.
All right, let's go straight into the third encounter, and I think maybe the crowd is feeling a little energetic now. Maybe you got a little more, woohoo! Maybe you guys aren't such losers after all. And
Nope, they hate us. Okay.
yeah, no crowd cheers at all. Oof. Okay, so that's what that's doing.
Everyone's just watching in anticipation. They're on the edge of their seats.
Absolutely.
Or there's cinder blocks.
Or they're cinder blocks. Short people are people too.
I need that on a t-shirt.
That would be a great t-shirt. Okay, are you finessing? Are you blocking? Or are you brute forcing?
Every fiber in my being wants to finesse, but I'm going to block this time.
Well, Edward is finessing.
Should have finessed.
You should have finessed. Okay, so that gives him advantage. All right. Okay. So, what are the results?
So I trip, fall on my face,
Oh no!
and Edward just kind of walks up and pokes me.
I do want to say though, because Edward rolled really high, he does it with a backflip.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, he
So it
definitely
doesn't matter
does
what
it with
he
a
did.
backflip. Like he just walks over, like not as a one
No,
motion. He
does the
walks
backflip,
over,
fully
does a backflip.
expecting me to be ready, and
Exactly.
just, as he lands, just sees me on my face and just kind of like, what?
Yeah, he's kind of like, oh, that's kind of like, should I let? No, I won't let him. I'm not gonna let you up. Sorry. He pokes you, real gentle.
Yeah.
He offers his hand to you. Oh, that was rough. I'm yeah. But hey, I'm the winner loser, and oh gee, I guess you're the loser. But hey, you're a winner in my heart.
Yeah. Shut up.
He kind of withdraws his hand. No more handshakey. It's like that's fine. I'm gonna go fight a bugbear again. I'm not hopeful. Okay, and so with that, Mercury, you're out. You're not in the tournament anymore. How are you? How is Mercury? How is Mercury doing?
So I'm just gonna walk away from the whole thing.
Like
Just
the entire
I'm
festival,
gone.
or just
Probably not the entire festival, just the dueling arena.
you just head bowed in shame, dragging your quarterstaff behind you?
Yeah, that's what's
Aw.
happening.
That's rough, buddy. Is anyone gonna go console poor Mercury, or just gonna let him stew?
Yeah, I'm gonna let him stew.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot.
Oh man. Okay.
Just wait until I hear you say that later.
Okay. We're gonna do the finals real quick, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna crunch numbers over here. So let's see here. Okay, so that gives. We're gonna see. So in the first bout, they don't really say anything. They just go straight at it. And with a incredible natural 20, Edward I'm burning through good rolls right now. Edward just
Thanks.
he corkscrews right into him, and it looks cool. But like the reality is that he didn't really corkscrew. He like stepped and slipped and kind of flipped, but boy did it look cool. And so he wins that first bout, and then let's see here. Okay. The bugbear on the second one again. He's a beefy boy, and he hits Edward, and Edward gets hurt. Like he's like, ugh, the old kneecaps this time have been capped by a bugbear. And maybe I should have chosen something that would have talked a little bit more. There's no banter with the bugbear. Like, yeah, we get it. Okay, and then in the final encounter, we are going to see Edward actually manage to pull it off by exactly 2 points, and he will, with a real cool like you know the electric slide, like he does like one of those, and you just right beside him, give him a little tap on the elbow. And that's it. Edward is the champion of the dueling tournament. There's some notable mentions. Of course, the Bugbear, who surprised everyone by hitting his opponents. It's worth mentioning that on almost every encounter, except for Mercury's, the Bugbear just chose to... No, didn't choose to. I rolled. No, he chose to. Brute force. As one would expect from a giant hulking monster. So that's fun. But yeah, Edward won. So yay! And they give him a nice little plastic baseball trophy.
Does it say you did it?
No, it says you succeeded.
Aw.
With his name spelled wrong on the bottom.
Yes. Only way baseball trophy should ever be handed out.
Yeah, it's made out to Ed Wood instead of Edward. But it's a nice trophy. It's painted gold. It'll sparkle a little bit in the light. But yeah, so
Fitting for someone named Edward.
there's someone. I didn't even. Oh, we're making all kinds of fantasy references today.
Anyway.
Moving on from Twilight and characters who are named Edward that have nothing to do with vampires. So that was kind of the big event for the festival here. Is there anything you guys wanted to do at the festival that you didn't get to do earlier? Is there anything you want to check out?
I ate a giant chicken kebab and got a duck. So I think that's a pretty successful night for Norfire.
I would agree.
Trying to think. Is there a game?
No, I got my 10 on my the hammer.
You did. That is true.
I don't think I really need to do anything else.
Hey everyone, it's Noah, your DM, your man behind the curtain, your guy who hits them buttons to make that stuff go on the internet. Hope you enjoyed listening to the first half of The Perilous Path, Episode 2, produced by the Motley Broadcast. We had a lot of fun recording it. I hope you liked the dueling system that got implemented there. Sorry if it was a little too technical and boring for you. But then the next half that's coming up here sort of begins to set the stage for the rest of the arc. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's really good. If you want to consider supporting us in what we do here, we have a Ko-Fi under our link tree. That's great. If not, it's whatever. We're creating this content for you guys, so just enjoy it. The next episode will put us back onto schedule. Should be out on the 31st of December. Today is the 26th of December. We're a little bit off from our update schedule, but that December 31st will put us back on our Tuesday update schedules. So that's all I have for today. See you then. So the festival is all over, and the group with Edward sort of leading the way, holding his no, you know what, he's not holding it, he's wearing it. He has somehow managed to belt this trophy front and center on his tunic.
I love that.
And it kind of
cannot be comfortable.
it's not like the edges of the base are kind of digging in. It pokes him in the chest a little bit, but like imagine like a baby carrier. So he's kind of like he's just wearing that trophy on his chest. But you guys catch up with Mercury as you are walking away from the stage. Everyone's kind of dispersing from the stage. The dueling tournament was the last big thing at the stage over there. And you catch up with Mercury, who he's still brooding, still dragging his stick through the mud, literally. And you all sweep him up, and you head over to the. Excuse me.
I don't think I can pick him up.
Okay, so like you don't scoop him. No.
I pick him up.
Me. Just Norfire starts like bench pressing him like now that you're a loser, there is nothing to you.
Wow.
Catching back up with Broody McBrood Pants over here. So the party sort of brings him along a little begrudgingly, but like he doesn't resist too much. And you're all now sitting at one of the benches in the dining tent, and Edward has just gotten you all a round of Oaksmead. And Oaksmead is, this will come in, it's important a little bit here for like later when you guys are dealing with nobility. Oaksmead is like, as far as meads go, that is the best one. If you're really friendly, if it's like a very welcoming, like, you know, like a home cooked dinner from a Southern mama. Oaksmead is that. If you're being served Oaksmead, it's because like this person likes you. You're all tight. Like it's like that kind of thing. So he's gotten
your $5 Target wine.
No, he did not just like see a barrel and was like, oh, I bet I could sneakily tap that crap. Where it's basically just water with a little bit of herbs. And that was about to make a slight against tea, and that was unintentional. I do enjoy water with herbs. I enjoy a little bit of water with tea in it. I think it's quite good. But no, this is some nice mead. And he brought you all around, and you're all drinking. So I know that the festival is wrapping up here in a few days, and like the big things were tonight. But how long are you all staying? I would like to invite you to stay and enjoy the rest of it. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I don't really think that question applies to me, does it?
No, I would say, Ruad, that I am pretty confident that you will be staying here for the rest of the festival. I don't know if it's your position in the city council that does it, but I have an inkling. Norfire, I know you've been here a while already, but I mean another week or two couldn't hurt, right?
Well, yes, I was planning on staying until I found some things, and I've not found them yet, so...
Oh, that reminds me, I've yet to even take you to the Knight's Library. I'll definitely remember to do that.
That would be wonderful.
How about you, Alistair? I mean, it's a festival still going on. Plenty of opportunities to perform.
Of course. Gotta get that gold.
Always on that grind. Well then, in that case, I shall be delighted to drink with you now, delighted to drink with you then, and perhaps even delighted to drink with you in the morning. And to that, he swallows the entire tankard in one go. And you all can't help but think that can't be healthy. Like, I'm not talking multiple gulps. I mean literally one gulp, entire tankard, 2 pints in one go.
Is this one of those cartoon swallows where they just like... They take one swig and then their throat just kind of is this giant bulb going down?
I mean, the giant bulb, yes, but like he sips at it like for a solid 30 seconds to drain all. It's just...
Wow.
Alistair kind of just stares at him, kind of... also...
I mean...
I see Edward do that, and I take it as a challenge. And I will drink my entire tankard.
Okay, I want you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I rolled a 9, so it's a 13.
A 13? Okay.
Oh wait, I have advantage on against poisons.
Okay, this counts. This counts. Okay, so you get advantage.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. You pull off the feet. Before I was gonna have you like spit a little bit out, kind of like, bleh. But no. I think you pretty successfully managed to pull it off. And Edward, like, he looks at you and he goes, "But I won a dueling championship."
Clearly drunk.
very, that much mead that fast. He is
So it
definitely.
doesn't act that fast.
He's feeling it. This is not your first. You are not on your first tankards. Any of you, I would assume. Maybe Norfire.
It's like the size of me. You can't have too many of them.
I mean, it's going to be common that they don't have gnome-sized things. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm like using both hands to dip this into my mouth.
Oh, that is
Are you
great.
still on your cinder blocks?
Are you still on your cinder
No,
blocks?
I think I'm like sitting on the table.
So your head is barely poking. It is barely peeking over the table.
No, I'm on the table.
Oh, that's
like-
even better.
The chairs are too short. I would be underneath it. So I'm just like somebody lifted me up and put me on the table.
That is so great. That is so good. Okay. I am going to say Ruad can probably hold his mead better than Edward can. So it may be a little bit tipsy, but I think you took that pretty well. And that was such a great roll. But so the night continues on for a couple more hours. And it's now getting about 1 o'clock in the morning. And the embers from the fields have settled. There's no longer this orange glow that had been sort of lighting up the entire countryside as they burned away all the chaff on the fields. So that's kind of down. The fields, it's kind of pretty looking almost, as you see these few bright embers laid out all around, like little bits of red stars all over the ground. And so people are starting to either pass out from drinking too much or make their way back home. There's sort of a very slow trickle of people leaving. You get that no one's in a hurry. Everyone's very happy, very content. And everyone go ahead and make a perception check.
Which is
So that is not your natural perception. I want an actual perception check, which is your wisdom, and then if you have any modifiers to it.
Well, I mean, passive perception is if we aren't looking out for something.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? That's a good point. There is a slight bit of ruckus happening in the off to the southwest. So that's what this perception check is. That.
I'm sorry, I threw my perception halfway across the room. What did I miss?
There was a slight ruckus happening. Yes, so that is your D20 plus your perception skill, and it's to see if you can identify what the ruckus is.
So I have 5.
21.
20.
20. Wow, those are some good rolls.
Did you not hear me?
Except for yours, I was just
18.
18. Okay, so everyone except Mercury and Edward,
I'm still brooding.
who Edward is just sort of softly humming to himself still, and
Is he humming the mead? It tastes so good.
It is.
So.
He is humming his mead song, and like he's not drinking anything, but he makes a little like a yippee kind of motion with his arm when he hits the drinking part of it. But yeah, so the rest of you look over to the southwest, and that is there was no burning going on over there. But where this ruckus is starting to happen, you look and it almost looks like there's embers moving over there.
I start playing with Archimedes.
Leave my duck alone.
Oh, this is a good question that we didn't ask. Does Archimedes drink? Is he a social drinker? Is he absent?
Duckling!
I gotta know. So is he too young?
Wait, hold on. Hey Siri. Butterflies like to drink.
That's not our question.
No, it's not. But Daffy Duck has been
So
known
do
to drink.
Squirrels and deer.
Wow,
It's not saying
really?
anything about
Then
alcohol
let's
should
say
never
first.
ever be fed to ducks. If ducks drink alcohol, they will die.
Oh no!
No.
No, so Archimedes is not a social drinker.
No.
Although, you know,
He's our sober friend that's making
he,
sure we all get
he's
home
the
safe.
designated driver.
Yep.
Archimedes is the designated driver for the crew. Okay, okay, so the rest of you who are not softly humming to yourself or playing with a duck, what do? You have noticed some moving embers where there was no fire.
Well, I'm gonna take Archimedes back and stick him in his little.
Yeah, probably a good call.
Yeah, he's gonna go back in his shoulder holster as I prepare for whatever's about to happen. Yeah, he clicks in.
As someone who is very familiar with fire, do I notice if there's anything off with it or where the source might be coming?
What was your perception check again?
21.
Yeah, absolutely you do. These embers, you realize, are moving at about waist height. And because...
Taller than me.
Yeah, they actually, they'd be about, I don't know, about a hand and a half higher than you. Yeah, so you would have to look up to see these embers. But you also, Ruad, you can tell that the way they are moving reminds you of a animal. So what do you... At this point, you guys have not acknowledged that it exists yet. No one has said anything. You've taken back Archimedes.
I'm still kind of.
Well, I
hurt
think I kind of
that-
let him know what's going on. Like, hey, give me back the duck. Something
saying-
weird is happening.
Okay, well, let's do that. Let's make some. I don't want to. It's not LARPing, but yeah, let's have some conversation. Let's have some scintillating conversation, my dudes.
Without saying anything, I'll probably just change into a horse and run off in that direction.
Thanks. Just thanks.
Because this seems more like an urgent thing, and so I just like immediately just like bolt for it.
Yeah, do you not like maybe snap at us, point, and then go? At least alert us to.
Well, I'm
the
picturing
position.
like I'm jumping up, trying to reach the duck that Mercury's still holding, and then Red just like changes it to a horse, and we're both like, wait.
You definitely cut across tables, leaping people through the tent, which is still filled with drunk patrons.
So I have a feeling
I'm
people
not
are
gonna
gonna
change
pay
into a
more
horse in the
attention
middle of the
to
tent.
you.
I'll walk to the front of the tent
Okay.
to see what's going on and then change. and get off.
Okay. It's still setting. Okay, so Alistair, what are you doing then?
Well, I mean, obviously I noticed what's going on. And I'm like concerned, so like I feel like it's one of those situations like, you know, if you're drunk, then if you notice something bad is snap out of it and you're instantly sober.
Yeah, for sure, adrenaline.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Okay. And then Norfire, what are you saying to Mercury and Edward? Or are you saying anything to Edward? So far, no one has acknowledged Edward. You just
Oh, he
hear,
didn't notice either, did he?
Nope, he's still humming to himself.
Then I'm probably like jumping up and down, waving my arms, trying to get their attention.
Okay, yeah, and yeah,
Guys, something weird is happening. Pay attention.
and
No, duck, duck.
and Alistair, you said you started tapping Edward on the shoulder, so he looks at you with a little bit of a head waggle, like, yes.
Oh my god, why did I just have to
So
Is this us trying to simulate what being drunk is?
I mean, none of us have any experience, but yes, I assume.
Seen drunk
I think
people.
we've seen people, and like we have TVs and movies.
Oh man.
So to quote Edward, yes.
I imagine the head wave that you always do is what Edward is doing in this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I've even been doing it here. Okay, so what do you say in response to Edward?
I kind of point towards, like, because I don't know what to say exactly to, like, make him look, so I kind of just, like, point towards what's happening.
Okay. He is going to look, and I'm going to have him make a Constitution saving throw to snap out of it. And that is... Okay, that'll do it. He looks over and goes, "That's a fire!" And he flicks over to where... Northfire, have you gotten Mercury's attention yet?
I don't know, he might still be distracted by the duck.
In that
And
case...
I can't reach it?
Edward is going to grab what is closest to him, which is his tankard of mead that he hasn't finished, and splash it into Mercury's face and go, "That's a fire!"
I take advantage of his surprise to take Archimedes back.
Okay, so Archimedes is safely slotted into his shoulder holster now, and you said that...
Wait, hang on. Where
As
did
he's-
this stuff come from?
The festival game, I won it!
Yeah,
When did this happen?
Last time!
a month and a half ago.
Yeah. It was like the last thing that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I knew is I was going to throw Archimedes in one of my interactions at least once during the session. And I'm happy I did.
That's fair. Okay, so you said...
Also, response to being splashed in the face, what the heck was that for?
"That's a fire!" And at this point, Edward runs off towards the fire without turning into a horse.
Like the specific there.
I needed to clarify. That is not a trick that many people possess.
Ah, good. I was afraid he was a horse there for a second.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
So I'm going to attempt to chase him out the tent because I'm sort of pissed at this moment.
Okay, so you're running...
I still haven't fully realized that there is a fire on the horizon.
Okay. Northfire, are you chasing after... And I guess Alistair too, are you guys heading over that way now?
Yeah, I guess I will.
Okay.
At full speed.
And Alistair, I take it you are too then?
Yes.
Okay.
And Rued is horsing away.
Horsing away.
So Ruad is there, and I will explain what he sees. So Ruad, as you get over there, I think you probably stop short and turn back into human form, because what you see... Maybe you stay as a horse.
I'll keep horse.
Horses don't have great vision, though.
Well, it's a magical horse.
Okay, maybe you're a horse with both its eyes and... Oh, that's...
He can turn his head.
I don't like that
Yeah.
I've mentioned that. Ugh, horses with eyes in the front are not correct. Okay, so what you see when you get there is, first of all, you can't see the forest anymore. There's just a wall of black. But the other that's very secondary. What you really notice is that there are little creatures that are like this really dark ash gray color, except for one bright burning spot in their head, which looks like an ember, but upon closer inspection, it looks more like an eye. And they're kind of... You can't see it from afar, but they look like they're a little bit cracked. They look like if you were to make a bunch of clay balls and then like just slap them together in the vague shape of like a human child almost.
This is terrifying.
Yes, they're incredibly terrifying, with like cracked red lines across their body in this bright glowing pit of an eye, and there are hundreds of them. And you notice where they step, it singes the ground, and where they stand still,
So we got some.
it starts
baby
to
lava
spark. And they
monsters.
are chasing humans. they are trying to wreak some destruct. Like, that is very clear. They have no good intent. They are just running around like little gremlins, chasing after people, and like putting their hands on poles for tents so that burn through. The poles won't catch fire, mind you, but they burn through in the tents collapse. So you have a good maybe minute and a half before everyone else gets here. What do you do?
So I think we talked about this about the past few months. I've been having that dream.
Mm-hmm.
Does this look like this? Does it match up with what that has been happening in my dream?
So the dream you've been having is this black wall for sure, because the dream is very dark. But now you realize what at first you had taken for like maybe stars or candle lights. It's the eyes of these creatures, and it doesn't quite look like your dream. Like, it's very close, but you can tell that something's different. And especially because each time you've had the dream, it's a little bit different, as if showing a different scene of the same thing. But you can confirm that you have been dreaming about this, or at least something very similar.
How is my dream ended?
Your dream ends with like a bright flash of red, then black,
One of them jumps in your face.
and then you wake up. No bodies. It's just these collars. Dots of red with all blackness around. Then a flash of red and darkness.
I'm not quite sure. I guess I'll start just like I'll just like look around for like anyone and possibly try the best I can to pick them up, or at least to get them to get on my back, as I am a horse. And as soon as I get like the most people I can carry, I will like start running off.
Do you have a... Is there anything that says your weight limit as a horse?
No, my strength is 16, and I'm a large creature.
Okay. You can get 3 people and still move at a reasonable speed. Any more than 3 people, and I'm gonna say you're gonna have to probably trot at most. And a trot is probably like a quick walking speed for an average human.
Trots are pretty fast.
I guess you're right. It's a jogging speed for a human. So right now, though, you can see there is a man who has been swarmed by 4 of these, and he is screaming as their feet touch his skin. Because they're not like grabbing him, they're kind of walking all over him, like stomping like an angry child. And then there is a woman who they are chasing after, and they are swiping at her skirt, singeing it. It's also important to note that they are they're disorganized but unified. So they're all doing it differently, but they're all heading in a northeast direction, coming from southwest. And this brings them on I don't know that you necessarily make this connection right now, but just to give a picture of what's happening, they are headed towards the area of Nook and the fields beyond.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly I can do. I guess I will try to knock some of them away the best I can.
Okay. From the man or the woman?
I feel like the man is in a more dire situation right now.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do... well, first of all, tell me how you are going to attempt to scare them off of him.
I'll probably just stomp a few.
Okay. So you charge over there, and do you rear back, or do you just start stomping?
And I kind of do like the hop up and then stomp down.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely intimidating. These guys are not very big. Like I said, they are about... How tall are you, Norfire?
2'4".
2'4", so they're about 2'5", maybe 2'6".
Why is everything taller
These
than
things are big then. Bigger than I thought they were, at least.
Yeah, so they're a fair size, but they're not huge, especially compared to a horse. And I'm assuming you're a pretty big horse.
I mean, yeah.
So
of course.
I want you to make a intimidation check with advantage.
That's weird. I thought it was just gonna make like an attack roll.
No, because I don't think you're necessarily trying to hit them, because they are over this man.
Stomping down on them would result on you stomping on him.
Yeah, you would definitely kill
Can we
this dude.
distract them?
I guess
That's essentially what he's doing. He's intimidating them to distract them to.
That would be a roll of 16 plus 1, 17.
Oh, absolutely. These things scatter. Like a white, and not just the ones on the man, but the in the general area, they kind of, they don't stop moving forward, but they definitely split. So you've kind of parted them in that area, and like a little, you have saved this man. They have definitely fled. They are, I'm assuming you snorted and you like stomped down, and they're like, nope. They don't say anything because they have no mouth, but they definitely yeet on out of there. So are you going to kneel down and try and help the man then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I don't look like a typical horse exactly. I feel like I probably do have more distinct red hair.
I was just about to say that. No, you do not have eyes in the front of your head. Ugh, that cursed image. But yes, your mane is probably like a fiery red. And
yeah.
What color tunic were you wearing?
It like kind of like mixture. It looks like a mixture of like fall leaves and flames.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna say that you're probably this goldeny orange color, and this is background flavor, and it's not gonna make a lot of difference to this specific guy. But have the citizens seen you turn into a horse before?
I mean, it's probably happened at least a few times.
Okay, so then people have probably at least heard of it. So what this guy does is he's just gonna toss his arms around your neck and like halfway pull himself up. He is a half elf. It's hard to discern more than that because he is pretty severely burned, and so he is just kind of hanging off you as you stand up. And unfortunately, because of that, he's maybe taking up a little more space than one person.
Okay.
And at this time, the rest of the party is going to arrive, and to see this scene with you standing up with this man hanging off of you, you probably swivel to face towards the woman, I'm assuming, who was further ahead than the man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, if it's not possible, I'll try to swing him up, maybe get him on my back, if at all possible.
Yeah, I think for sure he's got his chest definitely against your neck, but you're for sure dexterous enough to get his legs flipped over, so he is at least straddling you.
Yeah.
What is everyone else doing?
I thought we were still chasing Edward.
That's what I'm saying. You have just arrived to this scene, and pretty much without hesitation, Edward just sort of like, you hear him help. Well, that's not natural. And then he just goes in at him. He is going in to fight these things. He whips out his rapier. No, sorry.
Do we know anything else about?
That is his. Other than, so you all observe the exact same things that Brett did when he got close. They look like they're made of clay. It's this very dark, ashy gray color. They're very lumpy, very ill-made, and they're cracked with this red glow. It's not like lava. It's not moving. It's just, it's a
like fire.
light, it's a fiery, like, the part of their eye looks like an ember.
So what would we, like, would we know what could counter it at all, or would we just be like, what is this?
I'm going to say that you all think fire. Like, the thought of fire comes across, but other than that, there is not something to compare these to. There is nothing that you all would, like, know that, like, oh, this is not a documented thing. And so... And sorry, I misspoke. Edward does not have a rapier. That is his dueling weapon. He has a short sword, and he is also a monk. I don't know if I ever clarified that. But so what he's going to do is he goes in with a blast of his sunbolt, which for people who don't know what a sunbolt is, literally think just a key blast from Dragon Ball Z, and that's what it is. So he does that, and it vaporizes this thing. But what's weird is, like, it shouldn't have. This is not a vaporizing move, but when this thing is hit by that blast, it just vaporizes, and with Flurry of Blows, which is Edward's other move that he gets to take as a bonus action as a monk, he critical fails and completely misses the completely misses this little fire guy, but he trips but turns it into, as he is wont to do, a somersault, springs back up, and keeps running towards Ruad, who I am certain that Edward knows that is Ruad.
Yeah.
And the rest of you?
Okay, so I'm gonna probably be the first one coming up behind him.
Yes.
And my initial reaction would have been to punch him for still splashing beer in my face. But
right.
Seeing this now and having the full realization of, oh, there's something happening. I'm going to. So my dueling weapon was the bow staff.
Okay.
I actually have a glaive as my actual weapon.
Remind me what a glaive is. Is that it's not a chakram, which I always confused it with.
No, it's like a long, kind of like a spear with a longer blade at the end.
Oh yeah, it's like a naginata. That's right.
Yeah, it's gonna look like that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna grab that and probably start going for the things that are closest to me. Probably give them a good smack and try to shoo them away from everyone.
Okay, so we are in this is another thing that I have homebrewed. We are in mass combat right now. So I took this idea from the Apocalypse system, in which there's no such thing as initiative in the Apocalypse system. You just sort of say attacks, and I decide, like, can you do that? Like, I'm not going to just let you say, I attack this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. I mean, everyone's going to get to take a turn. But, like, the order of it, because there are literally hundreds of this around, there is no way to do initiative. So just tell me what you're doing. You are still you'll roll against their defense and roll for damage. So, yeah. Go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
I rolled a d20 plus the hit DC, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so then 23.
23. Woo! Yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll for damage.
I got a 5.
Okay, yeah. You slice right through this thing, and much as it did with Edward, it vaporizes. There's not ash left. There's not dust left. It's just gone.
Just kind of like poof.
Yeah, just exactly like they just gone.
Did I just get one, or did I get like multiple?
I'm gonna say you got at least 2. It's a glaive. It's a pretty big swing with that.
Okay.
Okay, Norfire, Alistair.
Well, I think I've just arrived.
For sure, you arrived last.
So, like, out of breath, panting. Can I touch it?
Yes, you can reach out and touch one.
Because I have shocking grasp.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Is it lightning?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Again, with this being a mass battle or a horde battle, if you will, you can probably like run through and touch a few of them. That's the other thing about horde battles, that if you can justify hitting multiple people with something that ordinarily wouldn't, then yes.
Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your attack.
What do I do?
I think, unless I have forgotten how spells work,
I believe Shocking Grasp is you make a melee spell attack.
Yeah.
Which is?
So that's going to be You're going to roll your d20, and then your spell modifier is +6 on that, so it's a d20 +6.
Oh no.
Right off the table.
There it goes. It didn't land on a number, it landed on a point.
Roll again.
So in that case, you just take the largest number.
On the dice, yeah.
And 20.
Is it really?
I just rolled again, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
So
26.
26. Holy crap. Yeah.
I think she missed. I think she whiffed.
I think you just sort of spread your hands out, and they like spark to life, crackling with electricity, and you just sort of blitz through these guys, and you touch 6 or 7 of them.
Okay. So
Because they did not stop when you guys arrived. They're still running through, which kind of makes it easy to just run through these guys. Cause it's like running through a tunnel at a basketball game or something. You're high-fiving. Exactly like that. Okay, so go ahead and roll your damage. Or is it...
yeah, it's 1d8.
1d8? Okay.
2.
Okay. So with the...
They
with
don't
the
vaporize when I do it?
some of them vaporize, and some of them just stop moving, which is kind of weird. But after about a few seconds, maybe 5 or so seconds, they start like trudging. They're not running anymore like all the other ones are. They're just kind of like barely making it, almost like they're walking through syrup. But I say you get it. You vaporize at least 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
Who is next?
That would be me. So I have a feeling that I only have my bagpipes on me at this time.
Bagpipes.
What? For the entire time I've been trying to figure out a way to fight with bagpipes, and like I've got nothing.
You can just distract them.
Yeah.
Just, like make a horrible noise and distract them.
I guess.
Thursday, can I come over and use my tavern brawler skill to take the bagpipes away?
Alistair, you can use thaumaturgy. That is your cantrip that you have. So you can manifest a minor wonder, a sign of supernatural power. So like your voice booms up to 3 times as loud as normal.
Well,
and
here,
I'm going to say
a sound that originates from a point of your choice. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
can distract them.
yeah, so I'm going to say, especially with bagpipes, either you can make your bagpipes 3 times as loud as normal.
Oh
So loud
no!
already, though.
Harmless tremors in the ground for 1 minute. Okay, yeah, like this is a fair distraction.
Yeah, all right. I can play my
My headphones are dying.
bagpipes for distraction.
Yes.
Okay.
Scotland intensifies.
Just hang on. Okay, here we go.
Okay, this booms across the clearing. I want to be very clear that everything in about a half-mile radius hears your bagpipes as they echo out over the fields and town of Nook. And it does distract people. The lady is no longer in danger, so I'm going to go ahead and say, Ruad, do you still stop at the lady to help her? Because I know you're heading that way.
Yeah, sure. I'll just run by real quick.
Okie doke. And she hops on pretty effortlessly. She's clearly used to riding a horse before. So she just which is like weird because there's no saddle, but like she gets up fine.
Well, you can ride a horse without a saddle.
Well, I mean, because there's already a guy holding the neck of the horse. So like this is pretty impressive. She just sort of yeet. And it's a orcish woman. Not that that means much. That's just flavor text. That was kind of useless. You're not even going to talk to this lady.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna flirt with her.
My bad. Flirty horses up in here. Okay, so, and then as you circle back to where Alistair is playing these obnoxiously loud bagpipes, so something does happen. They acknowledge the sound, and the flow stops. They all cease moving. Some of them in like mid-jump, which is weird. They're just hanging in space. Some of them mid-step. And then some unseen force begins to drag them together. They don't walk backwards, they don't move, they're just sucked into one spot 20 feet in front of you. And as they warp and twist and they turn into a 26-foot version of themselves.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Are we all
this
sort
is
of clustered together?
You are clustered together. So what I'm picturing here is there is a black,
Dynamax.
thick blackness behind you. And suddenly, you know, this massive clay-like figure appears, and its eye, unlike the smaller versions, which was just an ember, is a blazing flame inside its head. And its
So these
fingers
things just Dynamax.
sharpen into spears. Gigantamaxing would be more correct here.
Gigantamax, there it is.
To keep relevant with the young folks.
Hey.
Because some of us are over 20, which makes us old.
Huh, 19, still a zoom.
A zoomer?
Alistair takes 20,000 points of damage. Freaking
Old
zoomers.
age catches up quickly.
So quick. No, okay, so, but this, it's got like spear-like fingers. And as if this wasn't bad enough, that wall of darkness that had up until now just been a wall of darkness and kind of not acknowledged, a fierce wind blows out from it, and it begins advancing. And you watch as stuff just starts disappearing. Like, as soon as the darkness hits it, you can't see it. And then the creature howls at you. Roll initiative.
Ah, crap. As a bantered Edward. So, think you can beat this better than the bugbear?
I missed the bugbear.
Oh, I got a toy.
Wow. Okay. This reminds. Now I have to actually do something. That reminded me. Okay. So. Yeah, absolutely. So initiative, you have on your D&D Beyond screens. There is a spot for your character. It's right next to your armor class, and it says initiative. So you're going to roll a D20 and add your initiative score to it. So you said Mercury got a 20?
I got 22 total.
22. Wow.
14.
14 for Norfire.
Hang on. Uno momento.
Okay, we'll come back. Ruad.
4.
Oh.
He's got 2 peoples on his back.
Okay, yeah, you know, that's fair. You're getting a slow start. You're still a horse.
Still a horse.
Alistair, do you have...
Okay, 17.
17, okay.
Sorry, I was looking for the initiative. I couldn't find it.
No, that's fine. Okay.
It's your dexterity modifier.
And I am going to roll initiative for the big bad. And that is 1. -1, which is 0.
Oh. So he doesn't move. Ever.
You would wish, wouldn't you?
We need a better place to put this thing.
Also, Alistair, yours is +3.
Yeah, I saw that. I just couldn't find it for a minute. That's why I said.
Okay.
Okay, your headphones aren't working? Did they die? They were at 50% battery.
It's been saying battery low for like 15 minutes.
That's super weird. Do you want to plug back in the other headphones in real quick?
Sorry, give me a second.
Ah, it appears that a potion of technical difficulties has been spilled upon our entire campaign.
I blame your water spilling.
Oh shoot, it was me. I spilled the potion of technical
I
difficulties.
spilled hot dog water.
You did. She spilled hot dog water on my laptop.
It was a combination of
Oh, it
two.
was so dangerous.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, let's get into danger zone. Back to the danger zone. Okay, Mercury,
zone.
you are first up in the order.
Heck yeah. Alright, so... There's not a church in the distance, is there?
What?
Nothing?
No?
Okay. So if this thing howls, a glaive... I think we're just gonna straight up advance towards this thing. You know, go all gladiator style on it.
Okay, awesome.
Roar and charge.
Let's do that.
We're gonna... We're gonna try to take one giant big slash towards it. Probably his legs.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta add something. Ah, shoot.
Yeah. So D20 plus your hit.
So 13.
13. That will not do it. So you take a swipe at it, and weirdly enough, the clay, like his leg doesn't move, but the clay goes concave, and like your glaive just passes right through where the leg was, and it is completely unharmed. Like you literally did not even touch it.
Ah, shoot.
Okay, and it is Alistair's turn. And Alistair, I am going.
Bonus action rage if you didn't.
No, I didn't. We're gonna wait.
Alistair, you have to have a weapon, so I'm gonna say you do have your dagger. It didn't even occur to me.
Can I not chuck my bagpipes at it?
You can, but like, that's an unarmed strike if you do.
Okay,
And you also will like
I think it should be unarmed strike with advantage.
with advantage.
okay. I'm struggling here because like I want to chuck the bagpipes at it, but I also don't want to lose my bagpipes.
Yeah, like I think bagpipes are probably pretty rare in this
Those are
world.
It's hard to come by.
existential
That is not a
crises.
thing that you just, oh, a set of bagpipes in the local shop. I think perhaps I'll have some. Like, no.
I could probably make some.
What if Alistair
Probably.
just collects different types of bagpipes?
Oh my gosh. Like a kind for every different
She throws
clan.
some and then pulls out a different kind.
A different clan tartan. This is clan. What's your clan, Lucy?
My actual one?
Yeah.
Clan Keith.
Clan Keith. She pulls out some Clan Keith tartan bagpipes. Wow.
Throw my tartan bagpipes.
But no, it would be what's his name? The Goderoy.
Oh yeah.
No, Fildleroy Glockhart fan club.
Officially licensed bagpipes.
It's a big face. I love that Fildleroy Glockhart is sticking around. Okay, so what are you doing?
Okay, I'll have a dagger as well as my dagger.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you throwing the
Oh.
dagger or running up and stabbing
Yeah.
with the dagger? Okay, throwing the dagger.
Throwing it.
Okay.
Okay, let me roll here.
Wait, is that your only dagger?
Yes.
No, I have two.
Oh,
Okay.
shows what I know.
Come on, man.
Would I also add dexterity to it since I'm throwing it?
Yeah. I mean, it's still your attack bonus.
Yeah, so you're just gonna roll and it's +5. It's using your dexterity instead of your strength.
And I'm using the D20 die, right?
Yeah, so you roll a d20 and add 5.
24.
Oofda. Okay, yeah, that hits. That'll
It's in the eye, probably.
That'll do it. Yeah, that's a nice. That's it wasn't a natural 20, so I won't say in the eye, but like close enough.
If it is
Close enough that he kind of. That's the sound this thing makes. Yes. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage for that.
okay. Is it still the D20 die?
No.
No, it should have a.
No, it's a D4.
Yeah. 1d4 plus 3.
I was testing you guys.
Oh,
Seeing if
okay.
you knew your knowledge.
All right.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Well-
You should test me on my D&D knowledge.
Of course, because I'm the veteran here.
You are the veteran, yeah.
We've actually all played over 1,000 campaigns. We know what we're doing.
It is a long middle school.
Each campaign is longer than
All right. So let's roll that d4 plus 3.
Okay, hang on, give me just a moment.
It's the triangle, the pyramid.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Why has the numbers on the
She's
bottom?
gotta wind
So
it up, you
weird.
know?
Yeah, I gotta make sure it's good
You gotta
damage.
charge it.
Yeah. Watch it be a 1.
There is a 1 in 4 chance that it'll be a 1.
25% chance of getting a 1, so
Yeah.
Hey.
It'll be a 4
A 2?
anyways.
Okay. So
Total?
yeah, plus 5. Okay, that's not bad. It definitely lets out that little reek. But it's okay. It's okay. Your dagger does stick though. He's clay-like, so it sticks. And
Okay.
Norfire,
He's clay-like.
that will be you now.
Okay, So for this, I can't use it, right? Because I don't have a diamond worth at least 50 GP.
That sounds stupid because I'm not going to give you guys 50... Like, 50 gold is a lot.
Well, it says... Okay.
So-
can I use it?
Yeah, component spells are kind of a pain because they rely on, like, the presence of certain minerals existing even within the world, so...
Pretend like the little things dropped a bunch of them when they squirted together.
Yeah.
not
Squirted.
correct.
I don't like that. Don't like
I mean,
that.
I have like a crystal in my staff, but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna...
there you go. That crystal
it
does it.
magical power.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
it does.
okay, so
That's
I'm
why
gonna-
we have
I'm gonna
foci.
use Chromatic orb,
Ooh.
which is a 4-inch diameter sphere of energy.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ignore that happened. Okay.
Okay.
So I need to roll for it.
Yes.
Why do we all have 14 or 15 AC?
Magic?
Okay, it's a
We're
19.
gonna
total.
die.
19 to holy crap.
Well, not damage. That's to get through.
Well, no, but like I saw your roll. Your add-ons for that are great.
Plus 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so good.
Okay, so that gets through, right?
Yeah, absolutely, that gets through.
Should I choose
No, it
acid,
doesn't.
cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder?
All kinds of
Not
fun.
fire.
Yeah, not fire probably. Its eye is
Cold?
flame.
You should do
I freeze it?
lightning and the thunder.
Get
Lightning and the thunder.
out of here.
Well, I can either choose lightning or thunder.
The thunder.
I need elemental adept as a feat quick.
Probably cold.
Cold. Okay.
Unless you have like water.
No, I just said acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder.
Okay.
Acid to work fine.
Like all of these will work, but like just given your knowledge of how the world works, cold magic usually combats fire magic.
Okay, I'm gonna use cold. 21 points of damage.
21 points of damage.
3d8 and I rolled 2 8s.
Wow. Okay, so 21 points of damage, and it's cold damage, so we're gonna take another D8. Oh woo.
It's another 8. I think my dice is cheating.
So
That would be like
yeah.
30 points of damage. 29.
Wow. Okay, you just blast this. I forgot you guys were level 2. That's on me.
Well, I
Wow.
shouldn't have been able to use this
Up with
spell.
HP.
Okay, yeah, now I understand why you require. Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty high damaging spell for a first level spell.
And it goes up by 1d8 for each slot level
Okay.
above first.
Okay, okay. We'll probably talk about that in between episodes, maybe if we can find a way to... Because I don't want you to have to find a 50 gold valued diamond, but...
I'll have to find.
Wow!
Well,
So good. Such a good move. No, like, I allowed it. No, that you should be proud of yourself. That was such a good move.
I could conveniently run into some of my friendly rock gnome friends,
Yeah.
relatives who
Yeah, no.
mine things.
We'll figure this out. Wow, such damage. Very wow. Ruad, it is your turn, and I will say that this thing looks... It's certainly got a face full of frost right there. Its fire has definitely, like... It's back to... Before it was, like, blasting out of the eye socket. Now it's more like... It's a nice simmer to make your pot boil. This thing is definitely taking some damage.
I will run 30 feet away,
Okay.
drop off with 2 people,
Makes sense to me.
run back with my other 30 feet of movement, because horse got 60 feet of movement.
That also makes sense to me. Horses can
Because
move.
Force got speed.
Horse got speed. Horse...
Bonus action, drop wild shape.
Okie doke.
Action, fairy fire. So that's my dexterity saving throw.
Not its
Fire.
strong suit.
But also fire. Also, I just want to give it a finishing move.
Yeah. Okay. It made a 16 on the saving throw.
Oh, I hate you.
What did it? What was the check?
It's 14 on a second level character.
Good point. Yeah. No. I guess its clay probably does the same thing. How does Fey Fire work?
Well, it's if they fail, they get surrounded by light, and then stuff happens. It's not a damage doing spell.
Oh. So I guess... I don't even know how to narratively... It just doesn't work.
Just kind of fizzles.
I think this big amalgamation probably just wiggles. And nothing happens.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, again, without moving its feet, it just sort of wiggles. So more like it undulates.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Okay.
Word.
So it is going to take its turn now. And it is going to spit.
I should also specify that I wanted to stand like roughly.
So I say you're still 20 feet away at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stand super close to it. I'll stand about 60 feet away from
Okay.
it. 50 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, you just didn't run back.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. It is going to make an attack against Mercury. You ran up there, so
I
it's going to
did.
kick you.
Ah,
And that is a 18.
15 is my AC.
In other words, that'll do, Chief. Okay, so you are going to take some damage here, and let's see what that is. Okay, you are going to take 4 damage, and you are going to be knocked down. So what that means mechanically is you take that 4 damage, and on your next turn, to stand back up, it costs half your movement speed.
Okay.
Okay. So all in all, not bad. And then the big amalgamation is going to take a shot at Edward. Oh no, I forgot to have... Edward rolled a -2 on initiative. So he goes after the big
We're
bad.
just saying that now.
I feel like that's physically impossible for him.
Yeah,
He's
it's
kinda
definitely impossible. I think Edward has like a dexterity of +4.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah, his
I can
initiative
roll a
is
-1
+4.
strength check.
Okay, but that's not important right now. He's going to
He was
shoot this.
distracted by Archimedes.
He was definitely distracted by Archimedes.
He was
What a
making
cute
sure he
duck.
was safe.
As he should. You know, that's important. Don't get so caught up in saving everyone's life that you forget about the life of a duck.
He's securely strapped into my shoulder holster, and I've kind of covered him with my hair.
That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay.
Adorable.
So the big bad is going to make that lava. It like spits out a big globule of lava. I mean, I say spits out, but it sort of just shoots out of its eye hole.
Okay.
So
Wait, I thought you said it wasn't lava.
it wasn't.
Oh, now it is.
But it's not made of lava, and it's still a fire in there, but like a globule of like burning lava is coming out. Okay, yeah,
Just like winks at you, you know, and a giant fart comes out.
kind of,
Comes out.
well, a little bit like that. Just barely manages to hit on Edward, and that is going to be. Edward is super strong, so this is like not even gonna matter to him. It doesn't even matter to Edward. Like, he took a little bit of damage, but he just like takes it like a real
Straight raises.
trooper. Like he shakes off the lava and he's like barely even burned.
Oh god.
And he's gonna blitz in there with
Used to burn you.
first he is going to throw a dart. Welcome to Monktown. He's gonna attack like 4 times.
Oh,
So he's
no.
gonna throw a dart, and that's gonna be, that's gonna hit, and that's going to do 6 damage. And then he is going to take an unarmed strike, and that's gonna hit, and that's going to do 6 damage. And then he is going to do Flurry of Blows, which will use up a key point, and that'll be a hit, and it'll do 6 damage. And Flurry of Blows means he gets 1 more unarmed strike, and that's a critical fail. He sticks his hand straight into the clay and gets burned for 8 points of damage. So when he manages to rip his hand out, it is bright red. That like you're seeing muscle.
Ow.
Oh.
And so he just sort of lets out a scream of pain. Like that is intense, and he He backs off a little bit, and he's like, ah! Oh, man, that's gonna leave a mark! Like, he's in a lot of pain. Like, his little quip right there is fooling nobody.
Rub some dirt in it.
He does not do that.
I'm gonna kill that guy.
Yeah, despite those chunks of clay that he sort of punched and carved off, like, this thing did not do good. It has fallen to its knee. The fire is almost out. It took a good bit of damage from that, and Mercury, it is your turn.
Well, first off, I have to get up.
Yes.
Kind of lame.
Yeah. You did get booted.
So the knife is... Where is this knife that Alistair has thrown?
In its head.
Near his eyeball.
His eyeball. How tall is this thing?
26 feet.
But it's on its
Kinda
knee.
tall.
It is on its knee, so it's probably closer to... I'd say the way it is. The head is about 10 feet above you.
I'm gonna describe a scenario. Just tell me if it's possible or not.
Okie doke. Are you about to try and
Alright,
Monster
so-
Hunter this thing?
Which
Do it.
the glaive does give you an extra 5 feet of reach.
Because I was gonna use my glaive to hop up, grab the knife, and then slice down on it with the knife.
You're gonna use your glaive like a vault?
Mhm.
Pole vault?
You sure you
Yeah.
want to do bonus action rage first?
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
thing.
like
I should rage because I just did get hit.
as
I'm mad.
every good D&D player knows, what does the barbarian do? Very first turn, I rage. Okay, so you've raged, and
I'm
now
mad
you're a
at this
big rageaholic.
thing now. Yeah.
I think I called you the human fighter stereotype earlier, and that was my bad. You are
Yeah.
a barbarian. Yeah. Okay, so you have raged. So you have the advantage on strength checks and saving throws, +2 to melee damage with strength weapons, and you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. But you can't cast spells. Not that matters much. You do lose your rage if your turn ends and you haven't attacked a hostile creature.
Well, I'm definitely going to attack this thing.
Yeah. Okay, so the pole vault, make a dexterity check.
Ah, it's Dexter. Yeah. 19.
19? Yeah, for sure. You vault up there, you get to your knife, and I don't think you need to... That knife already breached armor. It's in him. Roll for...
Grab it and just slide
Yeah,
down
you
his
just...
body.
You slide down this thing. We don't even need to roll for damage here.
Just rip it open.
You tell me, how are you doing this?
Alright, so once I make my way up to the knife, it's just very, very simple. Well, first I take the knife out and stab it right back in to get more depth right in there, and then as
Do you jab it straight
I
into
just kinda
the
let-
eye socket thing?
yeah, the same point where it was lodged before.
Okay, it howls
And then-
again, and this time, a mouth-like spot rips open, and just this unearthly screech comes out of it.
I think at this point I'm still like trying to make my way back down to the ground too. I'm not gonna stay on its head.
Okay, so are you just sliding down with the knife, or are you?
Yes.
Okay, as you slide down, you cut straight through this mouth, and you get a little bit of its neck before you drop down back to the earth. And it rears back and it clutches at its face with its hands, and it just begins to melt.
Good.
Bright red and this ash gray all together. It's melting as it continues to just scream non-stop. And as it melts away, the screaming remains, but it starts to sound different, and then you realize it's the screaming of the wind as this black wall has almost reached you.
Oh shoot, I forgot about this thing.
That was my plan all along. And as soon as this thing disappears, the wall starts moving faster.
Oh, great.
Well,
Horse?
I guess I'll spend my second use of wild shape. And change into a horse.
Yep. Okay, that checks out. Horse.
Before I'll just tell Northfire to get on because I know he got small legs.
Got real small legs.
I was gonna use Expeditious Retreat.
Ooh, I have no idea what that is.
It makes me move at an
Well,
incredible pace. If you
wow.
don't want to waste space on me,
I can still move faster
Well,
than you.
Probably. I don't know. What is what is an
can you
incredible
use that on
pace?
him?
it doesn't specify.
Okay, I'm going to say
No, Expeditious Retreat is...
It just says
No, it just allows you to take a dash action. It's a bonus action. Oh yeah, that would allow you to move.
okay. So the Northfire, are you just yeeting?
yeah, I'm just running.
Northfire yeets. You know what? So as Northfire blitzes off, and I assume the rest of you take off too, Edward scoops up the two people and puts them on your back, Ruad, who they passed out.
Oh.
The man,
I thought these people would have ran away
the man
by
for obvious,
now.
Edward he's ripped the bottom of his tunic and he's tied up his hand, and you can tell it's not working right. Like he can't open his hand. It is kind of, I don't want to freak you out guys too much, but his hand is almost melted together.
Ugh.
Yum.
And what?
Delicious. Pauses in narration. What?
Moving on. But like he scoops these guys up using his left hand and his forearm, and he gets them on Ruad. And you guys go. And you're running, and you feel this incredible draw against you as you run away from this, and it's the howling is deafening. You can barely hear each other as you run, and more people are now running with you. They saw the amalgamation, and that's when panic started. And now there's this horrible screeching wind and fast-moving black wall, and everyone's running, and you see as people are getting left behind, and they're being swallowed, and there's nothing you can do. Because whether they're screaming or yelling, no matter what, as soon as that black wall hits them, they're silent. And there is nothing but the sound of the wind. And as you run into town through the cobbled streets, you see there is light pouring out from the grand cathedral, and
There was a church in the distance.
it's very far in the distance. I want to
There's a church
clarify,
nearby.
you guys have been running for about 6 minutes straight.
You can't even see my
I will
legs.
also
I'm
say
just-
that I think I'm moving at full speed.
Okay, so you've
I-
probably caught up with Alistair and Mercury then?
So
Well,
he's
I
probably
can-
ahead of us.
I can move twice the speed as Mercury.
Then yeah, you're probably you're not too far ahead of them, but you are ahead of them, and Edward is definitely back behind. And
Because what I want to do is I want to get to that church as fast as possible and run back.
yeah, absolutely. But what happens here is as you guys, I'm assuming you're all heading for this church, and as you head there, the small ember monsters reappear. And they're already into town. They come out from the shadows. They're coming back out from that black wall. And they're not moving much faster than it, but you get the sense that these are the ones that, when the ones in the field were all summoned, because remember, they've all been running past you before that. These ones made it to the town. And so the scene that we see here is Ruad makes it to the church, and he drops these people off as people grab them and pull them inside, and there's an outer courtyard, and at that gate we see Mercury swiping with his glaive to stave them off, and Northfire casting a spell upon them with these sparking hands and blasts of cold, and we see Alistair giving toots on her bagpipes and stunning them for moments before quickly dispatching them with a dagger. And
I was really hoping you'd either say that or that I was using my kind of like a baseball bat. And just like,
I really thought about it,
and
and I would have, but you did have another dagger. But
Oh, by this point, I've given her dagger back.
that's fair. That's
We're in
fair.
the cathedral. I'm like, here, you might need this.
All right. And so as we see that scene,
Instead of bagpipes.
Ruad, are you running back for Edward? Is that what's going on here? Because you said you wanted to run
is
back.
He struggling?
Yes, he can't
Okay,
run at full
then yeah.
speed because he's got his arm tucked in, and it's still, it's he's very clearly not doing great.
Yeah, then I'll do that.
Okay, so as you get back, he sort of brings himself on with his left hand. It's more of left hand, left leg, and you guys are riding back, and this black wall is very close now, and you approach these courtyard gates, and as you're being swarmed by these small beasts, you turned, all of you, to run away from this black wall and make a dexterity saving throw.
Wait, all of us?
All of you.
All of us?
All of you. Because it's very important to clarify that you all are what's keeping these little gremlins away from this church. The church is well fortified, and they haven't gone in the inner sanctum, but you are definitely protecting that courtyard.
I only got a 5.
8.
Do we add dexterity?
Yes, it's dexterity. Your saving throw modifier, actually, which is...
Same
It's
thing.
the same thing.
For some of you. Some of you
Alright.
will be proficient in it.
Yeah.
13.
Okay. So 13.
16.
16.
Alistair is proficient in it, so.
So Alistair and Norfire, you spin around Alistair with a quick whap of the bagpipes to the head of one of them. And Norfire with a nice dual blast of sparks and cold that you just sort of shoot off in either direction of the wall, and you both go in through the courtyard. And Mercury, how did you do?
I got a 5.
Oh
I did
no.
not.
Ruad, how about you?
I got an 8.
Oh,
Plus 0.
plus 0. Oh no. Okay.
And mine was a +2, so.
Oh, guys. Okay. As you get to this gate, Edward, and Ruad, only you hear this. You hear him say, "I'm only slowing you down," and he lets go. And with that sudden extra weight off of you, because it's important to realize Edward was wearing armor as well as being a 6-foot tall human. So that was
Why was that man wearing armor? He's a monk.
it's like that. It's
dueling.
that standard padded like dueling armor. Because he's also a member of the city guard, if you remember. So it was just more like standard issue stuff. He got 0 benefit from it, obviously. But as he slips off you, sort of the unexpected weight drop, you sort of burst forward, and in doing so, actually sort of headbutt Mercury. But you save his life in doing so, as he sort of is launched
thank
by
you.
that back into the courtyard, and with his somewhat stump of an arm, Edward raises it towards you and gives a half smile, and the darkness covers him. And as you guys barrel through this door, darkness
I
sweeps
can't
over
get
you.
close.
And no, you're right. The door closes, and all the light within the cathedral, all the light in all of Nook, everything goes dark.